Hey everyone, and welcome back to Aman Talks FPL. In today's video, I'm going to go through my Game Week 28 initial thoughts, having a quick look at how I've gone so far in Game Week 27, and what my kind of initial thoughts and transfer plans are for Game Week 28. So if you do enjoy the video, really appreciate a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing as well to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get straight into it. So taking a quick look at Game Week 27, so if you guys weren't aware, I did actually end up playing my free hit chip. Given that I wildcarded in 26 and I went for basically 3 Liverpool and 3 Arsenal, I thought it made sense to play the free hit. And if any of you are on Twitter, you're probably aware that there was a pretty strong template and I basically free hitted into the template. So you can see I'm currently on 53 points. It's got a game week rank of around 700k. Overall rank's gone up slightly to 16.9k, which is pretty good at this stage, hoping to break into the top 10k soon. And so yeah, the team, pretty template. You know, I've got Nick Pope and Ben Mee in defense from Burnley, and I've got Weghorst captain, so still waiting for his game tomorrow morning, my time, against Leicester. Hopefully he gets a hat-trick there. And then in the back we've got Cancelo and Bednarek, so ideally I would have gone for like a Kyle Walker-Peters if I could have afforded it. But this team had 0.0 in the bank, so this was basically me stretching myself as far as I could, and so I ultimately settled for Bednarek. I could have gone for Livramento, you know, he's 0.1 cheaper, but I was just a little bit concerned about the potential rotation risk with Perot back in the squad and training, so I went for Bednarek. I mean, it cost me 2 points, which is no big deal at the end of the day, but yeah, Bednarek was fine. He was on 6 points, and he was pretty high up in the bonus points as well. I mean, Cancelo, you could say that Manchester City's clean sheet was a little bit fortuitous because I think anyone who's watched the highlights would say that Everton deserved a penalty. But obviously Cancelo getting the clean sheet and 3 bonus, just reminding us, all of us wildcard sellers, how good he is. And then obviously Ben Mee's got his fixture against Leicester still to go. Weak from set pieces. Let's see if Ben Mee does anything. I went for the attacking double up of Sterling and Mahrez from City. Obviously the game just did not pan out the way I thought. I thought that game against Everton was going to be like a 4-0 minimum. Honestly, I thought Everton were right for the taking, but just not the game that we expected. Mahrez was benched as well. This is obviously the risk that you have when you play with Pep Roulette. But on a free hit, I just wanted to go for that upside. But, 2 blanks, not ideal. Son obviously did deliver in that win against Leeds, which is, Spurs were very, very solid in that game. Leeds obviously very leaky, continuing to be that way. Obviously Kane in front with 11 points, getting the goal and assist, and it was a beautiful assist that he had for Son as well, so great to see a goal from Son. Now looking at Fernandes, I mean, if you haven't watched the highlights of the Manchester United-Watford game, United had an XG of about 2.56, and obviously they scored 0. Fernandes easily could have had like 2 returns, even if not 3 returns. I mean, he was super, super unlucky, but yeah, just the 3 points was really frustrating having him on a free hit. And then up front, apart from Kane, who I mentioned, yeah, Weghorst with a blank, goal ruled offside as well, just as you'd expect basically from your captain. I fell into the double game week just because I thought just kind of go for the 2 fixtures and hopefully the upside pays off. So let's see what he does against Leicester. So that's how my free hit is currently going for Game Week 27. I think next up, I'll quickly now just go to what my transfer thoughts are initially for Game Week 28. Now, having wildcarded in Game Week 26, definitely Game Week 28 double game week was on my mind. So you can see there, my team's actually nicely set up for Game Week 28. I've got the captaincy on Rafinha at the moment, I don't know why, that was just my initial thought, because I thought Leicester pretty poor defensively and Aston Villa at home is a good fixture. Now we know that Leeds are not going to be with Bielsa as manager, so maybe there's a new manager bounce, or maybe there's a change where they're less attacking, so it makes me a little bit more hesitant on captaining Rafinha. I think if you have like an Aston Villa option like a Coutinho, I mean Southampton at home and Leeds away are 2 good fixtures, I think, on paper. I still think you can very easily go with a single game week captain in Salah at home to West Ham. But yeah, so you can see the starting 11. So that's 8 double game week players in my starting 11. Trent, Salah and Son as my only single game week players. I'd very easily play Trent and Salah, and then I'd favour the attacker in Son. So my bench is looking pretty strong. Obviously I've got triple Arsenal away to Watford, so that's Ramsdale, Saka and Lacazette. And then I've got Robertson at home to West Ham. And so my team is nicely set up for double game week 28. Now, something I have mentioned in previous videos and streams is that Chelsea were a good chance of getting a double game week in 28, and it has just come out now through a provisional announcement. I'll pop an image on screen through my magical editing prowess that there is now basically provisional double game week if Chelsea beat Luton in the FA Cup, or if Norwich beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. Then there'll be an extra double game week announcement for Chelsea and Norwich. So Chelsea's game week 28 fixtures would be Burnley away and Norwich away. And Norwich would have Brentford and Chelsea in their double game week. So Norwich, I don't think too many players are going to be looking at Norwich and any of their assets, but Chelsea having a double game week in 28 of Burnley and Norwich away would be extremely appealing. mainly because Chelsea also go on a very nice fixture run. I'll just show that in a little bit as well. And so at the time of recording, there hasn't been any confirmation of those FA Cup results. They'll be, I think, in Thursday morning my time. But I think it's a safe bet to say that Chelsea are likely to beat Luton in the FA Cup. Therefore, we have a good, solid reasoning that we think that Chelsea will get that double game week of Burnley away and Norwich away. So I definitely want to maybe dip into that, I think, if I can. And thinking about Chelsea assets, I'd mainly go for their defenders. I mean, I do also want to remind myself that prior to their blanks, the Chelsea defense was not very strong. They were shipping a few goals and they weren't keeping that many clean sheets. But I think with the double game week being that good and the fact that they've got such a nice fixture run coming up, it definitely still makes me want to maybe dip into that just a little bit. And I think the defenders are the way to go. Rudiger for your most nailed on option. Reece James for that attacking upside. The problem with Reece James is that he's only just come back from fitness, so that maybe does leave some question marks. We maybe could consider a Thiago Silva. And in terms of the attackers, I mean, really, Hakim Ziyech was the one who was on form prior to his injury, so he could still be someone though that we consider. Mason Mount has obviously just come back recently as well. He missed quite a few chances in that Carabao Cup final against Liverpool, so Mason Mount did very well for me previously in the season, scoring that hat-trick, so Mason Mount could be an attacker that you go for as well. But just when I was looking at my team, I mean, if I look at, say, any of the double game week players, I'm not necessarily wanting to take any of them out this week in particular because they've got the double. So I'd have to look at my single game week players. Trent, I don't think I'll be taking out Trent. Even though he hasn't been on as good form recently, got a lot of value built up in him, and I don't think I'd be looking to lose him, especially when Liverpool do have a double in game week 29. Similar story with Salah, he's not going anywhere. I mean, Son, good fixture at home to Everton, and then a double in 29, so I'm probably not going to take him out. So then I look at my bench players. Ramsdale, I mean, the replacement for him would be Mendy, but I do think that's quite a bit of money to spend on another goalkeeper, so I probably wouldn't look to go for Mendy, but he could be someone that you could consider. Robertson, again, similar story with Trent, although I'm a little bit more open to taking out Robertson, just because I don't have the value built up in him, but there is a bit of a plan to potentially get him back, so I'll just discuss that in a little bit. Saka, I mean, it's a good fixture away to Watford, and then it's a double in 29, and then the same for Lacazette. So it's really, really hard to kind of figure out which of my team would I try to take out to maybe capitalize on some Chelsea assets. Really, it's the Chelsea players who are the only ones who are kind of into my thinking for Game Week 28 transfers at the moment. And in terms of the chips that I'm looking to play in Game Week 28, I think the fact that I have wildcarded, and look, a lot of my reasoning for wildcard was to bench boost in 28, especially if Arsenal did get that double game week. They haven't got the double game week, which is a little bit unfortunate, but looking at that bench, it's a very, very strong bench. Ramsdale, Saka and Lacazette away to Watford. I think there's a good chance of a clean sheet, maybe some attacking returns from Arsenal. And then Robertson is obviously, he's been in tremendous form recently as well. So I think it probably is a likely bench boost for myself. So just quickly jumping onto FPL.team. So I'll try to just go through my kind of transfer plans at the moment. So if I do look to play the bench boost in 28, I mean, it's kind of more for appearances, but this is what the team would look like. I've set it up basically almost the same as my proper team. I mean, I'll put the captaincy on Rafinha at the moment. I think the captaincy is wide open this week as well. So, I mean, initially I've put it on Rafinha, but I think I need to give it a lot more thought before I kind of lock that in. And so, as I mentioned, I think Rudiger is probably the most likely Chelsea player I'd go for just because of the fact that he's very nailed on. So, I have had a bit of a plan where I might do a bit of a hokey-cokey with Robertson. So I potentially could take out Robertson and get in a Rudiger. Now on FPL.team it only shows Burnley away, but there's a good feeling that he will actually get the double game week. So what I would do in this case is I'd probably drop, say, one of my single game week players either between Trent and Son. Let's say hypothetically I take out Trent. And so imagine Rudiger with a double game week of Burnley away and Norwich away. I mean, to be honest, I could even captain Rudiger in that instance, but I think there's other double game week fixtures that we could potentially target. So this is one way that I can kind of dip into the Chelsea double game week. I mean, Robertson has been in great form, as I mentioned, but I'm just playing on the extra fixture, and it's two very good fixtures as well. I mean, we shouldn't really understate how good a Burnley and Norwich double game week is, especially for a top team like Chelsea. Now, going for Mason Mount maybe could be an option. Maybe I take out Son, but I think that might be, they'll be taking a -4, maybe booking in a few transfers. I'm just not sure if that is quite worth it, especially when we do know that Chelsea can rotate their forwards and attackers. So this hypothetically could be how I line up for 28, a pretty solid bench boost, I'd say as well. And then we'll go to the next game week. So this is game week 29. So obviously Rudiger would still have Newcastle. So I will highlight the nice fixture run for Chelsea. So imagine that Burnley and Norwich double game week. Newcastle, 30 would be a blank. Then it would be Brentford, Southampton, Leeds, and West Ham. I mean, that's a really, really nice fixture run for the medium term. So I don't mind bringing in a Chelsea player, knowing that I'm going to be keeping them more for the long term. Now, I'll just set up the team properly for Game Week 29. So I'd play Ramsdale over Dubravka. I'd definitely bench one of my Wolves defenders for Trent. I'd play all my Arsenal forwards and attackers. So let's say for Ramsey, who's got West Ham, and we'll play Lacazette, say for maybe Luka Dean. So this could be my team for Game Week 29 without any transfers. I mean, even that's a pretty solid team as well. The bench is not too bad. It's even got a double Game Week keeper as well. But I have only got the 2 Liverpool players, and just looking at my money in the bank, I've got about 3 mil in the bank there. And so one of the reasons I have thought about maybe taking out Robertson in 28, is that, say if Jota was back, maybe I can move on, say like a Ramsey or Rafinha maybe for a Jota. So let's say, for example, I take out Ramsey. That leaves me 7.8 in the bank. Now, I have a feeling that Jota is a little bit more than that. Yep, he's 8.3, so I'd be about 0.5 off that. But maybe I can make that money up by taking out, like maybe downgrading, say like a Saiz to say like a Livramento. That might be something that I could consider. So that's kind of the reason why I'm okay with maybe taking out Robertson in 28, just to give me that flexibility. But if I did want Robertson back, if I do think that he is the best third Liverpool player to go for, honestly, I would take out Luka Dean, just because looking at Aston Villa's fixtures, I know that they're playing Game Week 30, but I just don't think it's a great fixture, and the fixtures do turn as well moving forward. So you can see it's Arsenal, Wolves, Spurs, Liverpool, even got West Ham in 29, so the fixtures do turn for Villa. So I'm not going to try hold so much onto the fact that they've got a fixture in Game Week 30. I mean, looking at my team at the moment, I've got 9 confirmed players for blank Game Week 30. Now, if Southampton do lose to West Ham in the FA Cup, then their game will be on as well in Game Week 30, so Broja could be a 10th player. So I kind of look at that and say, look, my transfer thoughts will definitely be influenced by FA Cup results as well. But say, for example, if Southampton do play in Game Week 30, I don't mind taking out Luka Dean, even though he does play Game Week 30, because the fixtures are tough, as I say, and I do think the upside is there with Robertson for sure. So you can see taking out Dean, I've got 8.1 mil in the bank. I could just go straight back to Robertson. I mean, it is a bit of hokey-cokey taking out Robertson and then bringing him back the week after that, but I'll be capitalizing on a couple of double game week fixtures, so I feel like getting those extra 2 fixtures, say for an extra fixture for Rudiger and for Dean in 28, I think that might make it worth the kind of hokey-cokey. And obviously this is hoping that everything else goes to plan, but I would say bring in Robertson then for Saiz. And that would be my team for Game Week 29, still maintaining triple Liverpool, having triple Arsenal for their double, and then also having Son for his double in 29. So there, I think the team looks pretty good as well for Game Week 29. Now, I'll quickly look at Game Week 30, but it does look a little bit misleading because it hasn't been confirmed all the blanks yet. But basically, we know that Arsenal have got a confirmed fixture in Game Week 30, so I'd have Ramsdale, Saka, and Lacazette. We know Aston Villa have a fixture, so I'll have Ramsey, so that's 4 players. Wolves definitely have their fixture at home to Leeds, so that's Kilman, Saiz, and Jimenez, so that's another 3, so that brings me up to 7. And then I've got Rafinha for his 8th fixture, and maybe there's a chance that Broja could come in as well for the 9th player. So that's 9 players for Game Week 30. I think that's fine, depending on how the fixtures fall. And so maybe I could use an extra transfer, maybe taking out one of my midfielders for, say, like a Leicester asset, like say like a Maddison, or maybe I could even look to bring in, say, like a Jamie Vardy, just because they do play in Game Week 30. And they've got some nice fixtures in the long term as well, and they do have quite a few games that need to be rearranged as well. So that's my kind of initial plans at the moment. I think maybe taking out, say, like a Robertson for Rudiger in 28, maybe getting Robertson back in 29 as well, and then just go from there. It really does depend, I think, on the FA Cup results as well, but I'll probably stop the video there. That's probably me doing a lot of rambling. So hopefully you guys found some value out of my kind of thoughts around my own team. I'll definitely try to put out a wildcard video as well, just because I know a lot of people, I imagine, are going to be a wildcarding in Game Week 28, but I kind of want to wait for the FA Cup results to really have a clear image of, you know, who are the teams playing in Game Week 30, because I think that will definitely dictate how your wildcard is shaping up. So obviously, if you guys enjoyed the video, really appreciate a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing as well to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.